Hey everybody, it's Sarah, the Urban Farm Gal. I'm back from my trip and it is still hot here. What's going on, Helena? I was hoping that we would be done with this heat by the time I got back. So over it. So if you hear the buzzing in the background, it's all the fans we have going in the house. Maybelle's probably going to be laying in front of one of them, although right now she's behind me in the kitchen looking for treats on the floor. Hey, there's nothing back there. So today we're going to make a bean and grain salad. The inspiration came from the green beans that we got in the share this week, and I decided to build the entire recipe around those green beans. So here we go. First thing that I did is I soaked some dry lima beans overnight and some dry black garbanzo beans. So the black garbanzo beans are ones that we got from Timeless Seeds. And then I also cooked up some purple barley. This is also from Timeless Seeds. And I cooked them in my pressure cooker. So normally these things would take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to cook on the stove. In a pressure cooker, they took 20 minutes. So if you don't have a pressure cooker, I really recommend looking into adopting one. So in my big bowl here, I've got the barley and the garbanzo beans and the lima beans. And then the green beans, we got just under a pound with the share today. I've been eating several of these throughout the afternoon, so we've probably got 3/4 of a pound. So I chose to steam the green beans and I just trimmed the ends off, and then I cut them in half and steamed them for about 20 minutes. And then I ran some cold water over them to stop the cooking process. And they have just a little bit of bite left to them, so if you prefer your green beans a little crunchy, 20 minutes might do it. If you prefer your green beans thoroughly cooked, as in soft, like coming out of a can, then I would go for 25 or even 30 minutes. And I'm gonna add it to my barley and my black chickpeas and my lima beans. And then I also cooked up some quinoa. So I did a half cup of dry quinoa. Don't forget to rinse your quinoa. If you purchase your quinoa in bulk, chances are it hasn't been washed. And there is a soapy film on there called saponin, which is not good to eat. It can make you sick and also would make your quinoa taste like soap. So throw it in a strainer and then run some water over it until all the little sudsy bubbles disappear, and then it's safe to cook and you can eat it just fine. So with this 1/2 cup dry, this is about 2 cups of cooked quinoa. I'm just gonna throw it all in. Go big or go home, right? That's my motto in many things in life. And I forgot some green beans, so we wanna throw those in too. So I'm gonna stir this up a little bit. I can already tell I'm gonna need a bigger bowl. Will this be big enough? I hope so. All right, here's my bigger bowl. I'm just gonna dump all of this in here. Besides the beans, I decided that what I wanted to add to make this like a really complete meal for you and me. This is for me. You're not coming over for dinner. I'm gonna add some cucumber. So I have a cucumber from last week. I have a squash that I just harvested from my garden a little earlier this afternoon. And I'm going to put in 2 tomatoes from the share today. So I'm gonna chop these up, and then we're gonna add a whole bunch of herbs, and then I'm gonna throw together a vinaigrette to go over this, and then we'll be done. So, choppy chop. Here's you another piece of squash. All right, cucumber, in we go. Okay, tomato time. All right, 1 tomato down. All right, we're gonna stir all this up. Look how colorful this is. So, for the vinaigrette, so I'm gonna start with 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm gonna do some red wine vinegar too, and I'm gonna do about a 1/4 cup. So, 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. There we go. So in order to get this honey to fully dissolve, I'm gonna stick it in the microwave for about 5 seconds just to warm it up a little bit. That was all it took. To that, I'm going to add a half cup of balsamic vinegar. And I know that sounds like a lot, so if you want to trim it back a little bit, you can start with a quarter cup. And I've got some fresh mint from last week, courtesy of Wild Sage Farm. We're gonna go ahead and throw the mint in here, give that a little stir. And I've got some dried rosemary from earlier this year. This is about a teaspoon of rosemary. And that was about a teaspoon of fresh mint. And then I've got about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of some dried parsley. And we're gonna do about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And I'm gonna do about a half teaspoon of salt and about a half teaspoon of ground pepper. Right, and I've got 1 green onion that I've chopped up, so just for good measure, I'm gonna throw it in with the vinaigrette. Kind of stir things around a little bit. And last but not least, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Done. Give this a little taste. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Now we're gonna pour this bad boy mixture all over the beans and the grains. Let's stir it together. And can you believe it? There's no garlic in here. I decided to leave it out today. It's rare, it's really rare for me, I know, to not have garlic in something, but I thought for this recipe, I would try to go sans garlic this week and see if I can do it. I might change my mind yet. Video's not over. Last but not least, we've got about a half cup of feta cheese. You can sprinkle this on top if you're serving it at a potluck or something like that. I'm gonna leave it out and just sprinkle it on my single serving. I'm just gonna have a little taste in my little sample cup here. Let's get a green bean. I haven't had enough of those today. And a little piece of feta to go on it. Let's give it a little taste. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. So here's the thing about this salad. With the vinaigrette, the longer it sits, I think the better it's gonna taste. So you can serve it at room temperature, like right now. But I think if you stick it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight, all the flavors are gonna dance while you're sleeping, have their little party, and then you can spoon this out and take it with you to work for lunch tomorrow. And then you're gonna have like this complete flavor explosion in your mouth, and it's gonna be awesome. So that's my recommendation. That's what I'm planning to do with it. Although it's pretty good right now, fresh out of the bowl. This is what's called making stuff up as you go. So I did actually write it down at the CSA today, and so I had somewhat of a plan before I got in the kitchen today, but that's pretty rare for me. But what that does mean is the recipe will be posted when this video is posted. That never happens either. I'm ahead of the game this week, what can I say? You know, new month, new beginning. Okay, well, I think that's it. So till next week, have a great week. Enjoy your share and stay cool. Okay, we'll see you next week. Bye. Nummy, nummy. Sorry, I'm not sharing hay bale. It is good. Don't forget to rinse your quinoa.